a.k.a. Best Bail Bonds. Big game coverage live from Las Vegas. Powered by Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, Synergenics, and 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
As we air our grievances, one has improved completely. I'd like to welcome on the show former head coach and currently active in the college game, Brian Billick, here with us here on San Antonio Sports. Good morning, Coach. Glad to have you aboard, man.
Yeah, it's great. Great to be here. Great to be anywhere at this point in my life.
Well, you're staying busy.
Less so than before, but in a way that I like. Really, I've become obsessed with golf. So,
what's the handicap?
If you'll let me, my handicap is pretty much my my 6-iron. If I have to hit that, that's as big a handicap as you have to. You know, I'm about a 13, but that's a cheat like everybody's handicap, right? It's probably really a 17.
I mean, that's much better than I'm kind of faring at this point in time. Coach, you got here. We do something at this hour every day.
Yeah.
We air grievances. And it could be anything in your life.
So let the bad air out to start your day.
It doesn't have to be show-related, although if you have one with us, I mean, we're open to it.
Keep it to yourself.
We can be coached hard.
But, like, is there something that's stuck in your craw that, you know, you can add to our grievances?
Yeah, and I can say this, but because I'm from California, okay, native, all right. I came here to Las Vegas, obviously, to visit with people and do that, but I mainly came to play golf. And there again, California screws us and brings all that rain, of all the time to have to bring all that rain in as one more thing California's done to shove it up our backside.
What is it, the Pacific Train or
whatever?
Yeah,
the river, the Pineapple River or something, whatever. But, boy, you look at that. It's just L.A. to Las Vegas, and it's knocked out 2 days of my golfing. So.
Are you checking out the Live event this weekend?
I'm not. I'm going to get out of town before it gets real crazy here, but I am going to get on the course one more time.
Smart move, I think. Is there an art form to coaching an all-star game?
You know, there's certainly an experience that you have to understand. When we went to the Super Bowl, I had a number of coaches, Bill Walsh, Dan Reeves, former coaches of mine, that reached out, which I really appreciated, to kind of say, look, here's what you need to think about. Because it is a totally different environment. It was great. Dan Reeves said, he spent like 45 minutes with me, telling me he did this, did that. And he says, you know what, but I haven't won one of these yet, so just do the opposite of what I just told you to do.
Right.
But it really is. It's more experience about the pacing of the week. Obviously, you do just what you do. And that's the main thing you got to get the players. Guys, we know how to do this, right? Practice is the same. The field's the same. The game, once you kick off, but it's everything in between. How do you handle that? And you spend as much time with that on your players as anything.
The Ravens obviously thought that they were going to be in that moment. Maybe John Harbaugh would have hit you up. Obviously, John Harbaugh's done this before, and it felt that way. I think we all burned ourselves potentially. I know I did, picking Baltimore. It's really difficult when you feel like it's your year and you feel like in this instance, you've got Kansas City on the ropes and another MVP season for Lamar, and you kind of feel like if it can't go right now, what do the circumstances have to be for it to go right?
And that's the lingering. I mean, it was a great game, and you give Kansas City credit, and Baltimore was all the things you just said. But that is what it is. Mm-hmm. Going forward, that's the difficulty now as a coach, both as an organization with your team, because you're right. This was prime. This was this was their time to go again, and it didn't happen, as happens in football. And now that can permeate an organization, in terms of what do we have to do? Are we really that good? You question what you're doing, and that's something that's very real that you have to address.
Looking at in the broader scope of things, we're coming to you from San Antonio, Texas, and obviously Dallas Cowboy land, and we're talking about broad principles and looking at a franchise that's kind of at a pivot point. And when you see a franchise or been a part of that, and you see how you have to change a lot of different things, what's the first thing when you look at a franchise that needs to get moving in a different direction? What's the linchpin move that starts this process?
That's the hard part, because the knee-jerk reaction is you throw the baby out with the bathwater. Right. We got to do everything. Well, no. Sometimes it's very subtle.
Right.
And you have to begin with the idea that, look, I'm always and we're talking about it right now with Kansas City. How hard it is to go back and repeat. It's hard just to win one.
Right.
The things that have to align for you to go to and win a Super Bowl, a lot of it is fate. Obviously, you don't just dismiss it to that, because there's a lot of things you got to do to set yourself up. You create your own luck, so to speak. But it's a hard process. So Dallas has to look at, they were a good team, just like we talked about with Baltimore. They did a lot of good things, but you got to go back and be very critical about and analyze, okay, is there a little something we need to do? If we got to do a lot of things, then you're talking about a total rebuild. That's a wholly different project. But what kept us? What were the strategic things that kept us from getting to the next game? Sometimes it's just they were a better team, or they were a better team that day. Kansas City and Baltimore, I think Baltimore's a better team. If you want to try to quantify it, but not on that day. That's the great thing about this game, that 60 minutes is just long enough not for the best team to win, but the team that played best. And that's the great thing about the game. But you're right. For the Cowboys, again, and Jerry's one to, he's going to do it all. And we're going to do – I applaud that he kept Mike McCarthy. They'll make some subtle changes along the way because they were close, and see if, okay, we've got the elements. We've got to add a few things here and there that happened during the season, but they're not that far off compared to you look at a lot of other teams that, boy, there's a lot more to do.
Brian Billick joining us here on the Morning Huddle. And I think, Coach, sometimes fans think, okay, we'll just add this, and we get to pick back up where we left off. And you look at the Cowboys or the Ravens, and you have these amazing – Lamar's going to win MVP this week, and it means nothing. And so how hard is it to kind of humble yourself and say, look, we did all these great things, we have all these things on the wall, and we'll all remember them forever, but we did not get that thing that's on your finger right now. I mean, you do have to not throw the baby out, but you do have to throw the bathwater out.
You do. And more importantly, you have to give them something to hang their hat on to say, so this is how we're going to make it different. And beginning with, even with whoever wins this game, the biggest challenge day one, whether it's OTAs or when they get to training camp, is, guys, we are a great team. We've got the pedigree, but we got to start over. And that those things, the relationship, the way we work, it's like being married, right? It's not just, well, she knows I love her, I'm good. No, it's you, baby. You better do it every single day. Those little things to keep that connection, build those relationships. Don't just assume. Don't just let's just get through the regular season because now it's all about the postseason. That's the challenge for someone like Lamar now.
Right.
Is that it doesn't matter next season what you do during the season. That really doesn't matter what happens in the playoffs until you get into this game and win it. You're going to hear that criticism, so you can't rush past the other things thinking, okay, I'm ready to go once we get to that. No, you got to take care of it from day one.
And as a coach, to keep them grounded in what's happening now versus what's going to go on in December has to be not only part of the daily plan, but annually you have to look at what the schedule looks like to get them going.
It's a new
responsibility to coach,
and that's the great challenge of the NFL. It's a new paradigm. It's a new project design. I don't care how many people you have coming back. You're starting anew. I was joking a couple of years ago when I saw Ozzie Newsome in the airport after their last Super Bowl in 2012. We happened to see each other. Hey, Ozzie, congratulations. The Combine starts in 3 weeks. It's a quick turnaround, baby, because now, we're going to be talking the Combine here now, 2 weeks?
Brian Billick with us here on the Morning Huddle. And, Coach, it's my presumption that all of you wear your Super Bowl rings this week because it's a cool entry to this club. And it's like this big bat signal walking around like, I've done it. I've climbed the mountain. I've gone through everything starting with the Combine. On the subject of signals, you're here on behalf of Signal Relief.
Yeah. It's an amazing product. Came to me about 6 months ago. And like everything, I get a lot of things brought to me and I'm going, okay, well, this is kind of cool. This is an amazing product. It really is. It's not a tense patch. It's not icy hot.
That's what I thought it was.
There's no nothing you take, no drugs, nothing plug in. This basically works. It's a military grade, military developed. It works with electrical signals in your body. And that's all pain is, right? From the pain, we say put it between the brain and the pain.
Totally.
You put this thing, and that's the thing I love about it. You put it where you need it, and it blocks that pain signal that allows you to do the things. Motion is medicine.
Right.
Okay, that's the key. You got to players. I dealt with players for my entire professional life. You go into a training room, hundreds of thousands of dollars of stem machines, ice machines. Why? To help them deal with that prohibitive pain, so they can get back on the field, because it's that action with your joints and the muscle. That's where the recovery comes from, to be able to do that. Now, at my age, 18 holes of golf, I put this thing on my lower back. Right?
36.
When I get out of the pool, believe me, wait till you get to my age. Stuff's falling off and thing. It's amazing. I get out of the pool, it's on my shoulder, it's my upper back. It mitigates that pain that allows you then to continue to work the joint and the muscle. It's an amazing product. It's reusable for a year, so it's very cost effective. You put it where you need it. It's 100% money back guaranteed if you don't like it, but I promise you it's going to work for you.
Signalrelief.com, promo code COACH for 20%, because you're generous.
Yeah, I know. When was the last time someone gave you 20%
I'll
off
tell
of
you what,
anything.
no kidding. And you got to stay young around college kids. Before we let you go, as we've seen the melding of the college game and the pro game, tell us about the difference of how close are the college kids to being pro athletes now as opposed to way back when?
Well, obviously, that because of the way things have progressed, they're certainly more pro ready when it comes to. Although there are enough differences in the game. Obviously, I did consulting at Arizona State. Loved being around those young players. It's a different mentality now with the NIL and the portal, which right now I'm not a big. To me, college football is a cesspool right now. I hate the way where college football is right now. They've got to get this under control.
Sure.
They keep talking about doing the Super League, and great,
Right.
do it. Get it done.
Yeah, start it now. So
Let's go.
We can get used to it, right?
Because it's right now it's ruining the game. But you're right. The players are more pro ready.
Has
when
the
they come
league
in.
come to college, or has the college come to the league?
There's a melding of it to a degree. I think it's not as much as a lot of people perceive. I don't think when I'm into the numbers, and I've been in my entire career. When you look at the numbers, the situations you're in, the number of times you're in situational offense and defense, and the way the game flows, game really hasn't changed a lot. Yes, it's a little more open. A little bit can be a little more down the field. There's a little bit more involved with it in that regard. Defenses have gotten a little smaller because offenses have got a little bit more spread, but not to the degree that in the college game where it's the other thing. The college game that bugs me is I coach at the Hula Bowl.
Right.
Mike Smith and I do, and we get these kids. They've never been in a huddle in their life. They've never taken a snap from a running back's never taken a handoff from a quarterback from under center. You spend the whole week going, "No, this is how you huddle."
That is crazy.
It is amazing. It is amazing. So, but it's fun. It's fun to do. But so that from that standpoint, they are more, and you certainly have more data to go on as a coach. And aware of more players. There's no more of the hiding. Oh, there's a guy at Buzzard's Breath, North Dakota High. That it's really everybody knows who everybody is.
Well, everybody knows him. He's Brian Billick, head coach in the NFL, college coach as well, coaching AllStar Games, working at Arizona State, and right here in our huddle.
You got
Thanks for stopping by, Coach. It's
all right,
always
guys,
a pleasure
thank you.
catching up.
Best Bail Bonds. Big game coverage live from Las Vegas. Powered by Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, Synergenics, and 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.